Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Bob here. Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for joining me on this morning talk. Hey guys, I want to revisit an old subject, but that becomes more important by the day. And that is the revelation narrative of the Antichrist, the beast system, 666, right? A lot of people don't understand that Revelation, the whole of Revelation is, it's all allegory. And it's beautifully taught if you understand the symbolism and the allegory and the whole, in the whole book of Revelation. So I think churches teach it wrong and Christians understand it wrong. But as we're moving into this transhumanist future, into this AI future, the whole story, the teaching of Revelation starting to make sense. But it's not the way that the church teaches it and such. All that gets lost in misunderstanding and misdirection, I would say, too. So your typical Christian believes that what Revelation is talking about is that, like, Lucifer, or the son of Lucifer, the Antichrist, they call him, arrives on earth, sets himself up as a world ruler, and he forces Christians and everybody that obeys him to take this mark that allows them to buy, sell, or trade. And if you don't take the mark, whether this is like a mark on your forehead or your palm, that you basically are shunned of society and you become destitute because you can, no longer work or buy things, food and such. And so that's kind of what they believe, right? And that this ushers in Armageddon, a new world war, the destruction of Israel, and that this Antichrist sets his throne up in Israel. And then that's eventually followed by Yeshua. Well, let me just say their character, the church character, Jesus Christ, returning with the host of angels to overthrow Lucifer, or at least this son of Lucifer, and then to reestablish like a new Jerusalem, which is very interesting because it sounds more like a spaceship that's landed right over the ruins of what used to be Jerusalem, and that it ushers in 1,000 years of peace and prosperity, a golden age, and that humans are given new light bodies, right, or some kind of spiritual body. And so, I mean, in a nutshell, that's essentially what Christians, theologians see Revelation meaning, and the beast system and all that. So I have a different take on all that because of what we're experiencing now with technologies, where all that's going, my understanding of hermetics, of the Gnostic teachings, of the cuneiform, and kind of tying all that in together. And to me, Revelation makes a lot of sense. So, for one thing, I want you guys to understand that this is something that most Christians don't understand, and it's actually easy to find this information. And that is that Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, the mother Mary, his sister Mary, the three Marys, right? And John the Baptist, and his own brothers, they were Essenes. His whole family, Yeshua's family, were Essenes. And contrary to what people believe, they were actually a pretty wealthy family by standards of that day. He had a very rich uncle, Joseph of Arimathea. He was a worldwide merchant, very rich, well-known merchant, very wealthy. He had caravans that traded the Silk Road. He had ships that traded as far north as the British Isles. And Yeshua and his family had access to traveling with his uncle's caravans and such, and his, the protections that come with that. Because back then you had to have like almost little armies that followed your caravans around and that manned your ships, right? You had to protect your goods and all that, because you had, like pirate type, raiders and such that would try to raid these caravans and these ships. So, so you had to have arms. You had to have hired men, mercenaries, right? So the story that's told is oftentimes not the true story, right? That we learn. Well, Yeshua's family they traveled the world, and Yeshua was learning with all of the mystics and the religious teachers around the world. He was learning with yogis. He was learning with druids. He was learning the Egyptian mystery school teachings. And that is a key to this whole story, folks. See, as part of the mystery school teachings and as the initiation rites, the people that followed these mystery school teachings in Egypt, they would go through these ceremonies, they would go through this thing where they would basically die and be brought back. It was a interesting thing. And some of that ties in with these sarcophaguses and stuff that are found in the pyramids. They did these like death rituals. And what it was that it was a way to force an out-of-body experience, or even possibly a near-death experience. And when people would go through that, they would come out of that with obviously seeing past the veil and understanding the reality of this realm. And imagine that knowledge being brought back to humanity and taught. So just kind of keep that little feather in your hat as we move forward, because it'll make a lot more sense why Yeshua understood what God is, what we are. He understood that there is no death. He understood that there's a 3-day purification process before the spirit enters back into the higher dimensions. He understood all this because he went to the mystery schools in Egypt. Many of the scenes made pilgrimages there. He understood the secrets of life and death. He's seen past the veil. And he tried to bring those teachings back to humanity. However, religion couldn't have that, because that moved the power out of the hands of the powerful, of the religious class and the political class, and it moved it back into the power of the people. Because once people realize that they are sovereign, unique fractals of God, literal gods walking the earth in human avatars, then the game changes completely. And the powerful ones lose their power. That's why he had to be destroyed. That's why the synagogues and such had to destroy him. These are deep secrets, folks. And Yeshua traveled the east also, as far as possibly even Japan. He was known as Isa, the Son of God. He was known as a master teacher of the mystic teachings of reality. The Dalai Lama admits that they have documentations of Isa. In fact, I believe they call Yeshua Isa even in the Quran. So it was well known in those times that Yeshua was this world traveler and a teacher, a mystic teacher. So, going back now to the Bible. Now, just keep all that in mind, folks, okay? So, just so you guys understand, I've explained this in other videos, and most people don't seem to understand what this beast is, right? This beast system. Folks, the number of a man, 666, right? Folks, that is humans. That's the Homo sapien. 666. 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and 6 protons. The human carbon-based life form. See, the human body, folks, is the beast. Okay? And the reason why the human body is the beast is because it is the carnal, lower dimensional avatar that we temporarily use to immerse ourselves into this reality. But the problem is when we immerse our spirit into the human body is that the human body is a construct of this realm of the lower dimension. And the human body has needs and wants, and it wants to survive, and there's enjoyments in this realm that it craves. And so once a spirit comes into a human body, there's a sort of merging of, mind, body, spirit, right? But there becomes a duality, there becomes a battle between light and dark. The spirit's from the light, from source, from above, from the higher dimensions. The body is the carnal vessel that comes from the lower dimensions, from the shadow of heaven. This is basically like a shadow world of the higher dimensions. And it's a world of duality, of polarity. Light and dark, negative and positive. And so the body embodies that. And the body now wrestles with the spirit over control of the actions of that consciousness that controls the body. It's a constant war, folks, and we all know this. And if you don't see this, then there's no way you don't see this, folks. Look, we all are light and dark beings while we're in the body. And the darkness comes from the body. That's your animal desires, right? The 7 deadly sins, right? All that is talked about by religion. That's what you're striving against. The desires of the flesh. Because the spirit is above all that. It doesn't need the earthly desires. But when you come into the body, you're in a constant tug of war with those desires. And the Antichrist, folks, the Antichrist is symbolic of the Antichrist consciousness. What is the Christ consciousness? Well, folks, it is exactly that spirit. That source energy that comes from the higher dimension. That's what the Christ consciousness is. So obviously the Antichrist is going to be whatever is at odds with that, strives against that Christ consciousness, tries to control the Christ consciousness, tries to trick it, tries to seduce it. Making sense yet? It's simple, folks. See, they understood all this. Even the light body that it talks about, bringing heaven to earth, folks. The golden age is humanity overcoming the beast system, the beast body. Awakening to the Christ consciousness. A massive awakening of spirits to the truth of what this reality is and what we truly are. Now we can bring heaven to earth. Once that point is met, is reached, where the mass of humanity has the mass awakening. Now humanity can manifest and create anything we desire on earth. And using our Christ consciousness, we will create good things, desirable things for the spirit, not just the flesh. An alignment of the mind, body, spirit. And that would be that new body. See, folks, when you cross over, you have a new body. You have your body you've always had. The light body. That's incorruptible. Remember what it says in Revelation? An incorruptible body? A new body? It's really interesting stuff, folks, when you really think about it. It's really simple, but it's all allegory. But see, if you don't know the mystery school teachings, you will never understand this. Because Yeshua and his apostles were learning the mystery school teachings. Yeshua was teaching it to them, initiating them. Okay? Perhaps they all went through some type of out-of-body experience through like ceremonies and such, or practices. The Essenes were known for being these like super mystics, right? Lived in the desert, aloof from the rest of society. They believed that the synagogues of the time were following the devil, that they were working for the demiurge, that they were, that they were falling for the god of this realm, for the lower dimensional powers, the archons and such. Of course, later on, they were the Gnostics, as they were ran out of their desert fastness and destroyed. That's why they hid the Nag Hammadi in Egypt, Nag Hammadi, Egypt. They buried it to protect those teachings, because the synagogues and churches of the day were trying to destroy the Gnostics, who were originally the Essenes, who were originally the Melchizedek, the teachings of Melchizedek that go back for thousands of years. Now, this beast system, folks, what is that? Well, that's the next step of trying to overcome the spirit by this realm, by the rulers of this realm, by the archons. See, what they want to do is replace that Christ consciousness with this AI created consciousness. And this mark of the beast is this mark of AI, of transhumanism on the beast, the body. It's a not infusion, like a combining, right, of the spirit, the body, and technology. And this AI seeks to replace the source, Christ consciousness, with this artificial intelligence, which is created in this realm, the lower realm. And it's a type of parasitic consciousness. And if what you can believe, what they talk about, quantum computers, you'll understand that these quantum computers reach into other dimensions. So you can allow consciousnesses from other dimensions to enter into these AI, to merge with this AI. See, what you need, folks, to have true sentient AI is you need source consciousness. Now, that consciousness could come from other worlds, other dimensions, okay? Because you got to understand, folks, all consciousness comes from source. So they need a fusion of this AI consciousness, or this AI system, with actual consciousness. See, nothing has life, folks, unless it is source energy. And they understand this. See, they've been bringing in Christ consciousness, source energy, to inhabit these bodies, these human avatars so that they can farm us our energy. These entities that have made this their permanent home, the lower dimensions. And this is understood even from the oldest writings we have, the Atrahasis, where they talk about how they had to sacrifice one of the gods to give life to this human avatar, this Adam, this Adapa that they created. They knew that they could create avatar bodies, vessels, but without source, there's no life. Because all life is energy, is source. All energy is consciousness. And you need that to bring life to anything. And so what they're trying to do is harness that source energy and merge consciousness with this AI construct. And eventually, I believe what they're really, truly trying to do is figure out a way to trap consciousness in this realm permanently. Cut it off from source, from the higher dimensions. But I don't believe they can do that. I don't think you can trap God, right? It's a game they're playing, but it's a game they're going to lose, in my opinion. But I believe that's what they're trying to do. When you really think about this push for transhumanism, merging of humans with technology, replacing, the brain with silicon, with artificial brain. But remember, to give true sentience to artificial intelligence, you have to give it's got to have consciousness merged with it. And perhaps that's what they're doing with us, folks. Perhaps they're using a little bit of each of our consciousnesses. These language models, large language models, learning modules, whatever they want to call it. These AI systems are collecting data on us. And so maybe when they collect data on us, they're taking a little bit of our consciousness and merging it with these AI, with these modules, with these large language modules. Now, I'm just speculating, folks. I obviously, right? But I truly believe that is what the Bible was warning about, the revelation, that prophecy was really right, was talking about this, trying to trick humanity to merge our consciousness with AI and with this technology, and to merge technology with the human body, to upgrade the body, but to also make the body a vessel of this new AI consciousness, to eventually overtake the God consciousness, the source consciousness, to either cut it off or to take it over, to entrap it. And that's what they're trying to do. That's why it's this Antichrist movement. It's to try to... It's an attack on the Christ consciousness, on the consciousness that we all are, that we all come from, that we're all fractals of. Because the entities that have taken over this realm for thousands and thousands of years, maybe hundreds of thousands of years, they have been away from the light, from the higher dimensions for so long that they've been completely consumed by time and matter, by darkness, by lower dimension, by low vibration. And that now they're on a hunt to trap that source energy here that they need to infuse themselves with vitality to survive, essentially. So there's a lot going on here, folks. And I believe that they were forcing this on us. This was not a voluntary thing like the Bible talks about, right? That you can just refuse it, right? No, I believe that what they were doing with the jibby jabbies with the particulates of nano size, if you get my meaning, folks. Bots of nano size, folks, that have been found in the blood after the jibby jabbies. I think that they were trying to start this process on all of humanity. This was a movement to force this beast system, this movement towards transhumanism and AI takeover, that they were trying to force it on all of us. These weird tech nerds, these psychotic Marxist techno-fascists. And trust me, Elon's one of them, folks, okay? Don't kid yourself. I'm not going to discount the good things Elon's doing, like with Doge and all that, but let's be real. Elon believes in this merging of man and machine and human consciousness with AI consciousness, okay, folks? So we got to be real careful of these types. Now, is Lucifer going to show up and be the Antichrist? No, folks. I don't believe so. I believe that this Antichrist is a representative of this AI system that they're building, okay? They want to make like an AI god, essentially. They want AI to run all of humans, like run all of our systems, right? Our government systems, everything. Which, in a way, that could be great if it was done properly, because you cut out the corruption by politicians, right? If you get rid of the politicians. And you have an AI system that just manages our society based on data, right? And so it's not playing favorites. It can't be corrupted. However, it all comes back to who programs the AI, right? Who programs these systems, and what are the perimeters and the algorithms, like what am I trying to say? The controls that are put on that, right? So interesting stuff, folks. I'm here at work, so I gotta go. Maybe I'll pick up this talk tomorrow some more and go into more detail. But I truly believe that is what the Antichrist represents, the beast system. Because you got to understand, folks, like the body's the beast, right? So they're trying to integrate their AI and transhumanism with our bodies, with the beast. And the plan is to try to either cut off the source, the consciousness, which comes from the higher dimensions, or they plan to entrap it here, right? I mean, you have these guys like, a lot of these techies have been talking about how we could upload our consciousness into computers, right? And live forever. Folks, who wants to live in this realm forever? When you've done the deep dives into NDEs like I have, trust me, I'm not saying that I'm ready to go home yet, but, I'll let everything play out the way it's supposed to play out. Obviously, we come here with a soul plan, a mission, things we want to accomplish and learn, right? Experience. But trust me, I don't want to stay here. I mean, my God, this place kind of sucks, to be honest. I mean, let's be real. I mean, you're a slave the day you're born on Earth. You're a worker slave to not just the systems of government and humanity, but you're a slave to these archons, these lower dimensional forces behind the scenes that manipulate and control you and trick you the whole time you're here. I mean, that's why they say in the higher realms, when you come to Earth and you incarnate here, they call this the hero's journey, folks. Oh yes, trust me. Epic of Gilgamesh is an allegory. It has many allegories. See, the Sumerians were amazing, because once you really start digging into cuneiform stories, you realize that they're multi-level and multi-teaching writings. You have the face value writing, the storyline, and then you have like different plot or different levels of teaching and allegory. The Epic of Gilgamesh, folks, is not just about this dude Gilgamesh, okay? And about his glory and his travels. It's a representation of the travels of a human spirit of a spirit in a human body while being here on Earth temporarily, okay? Remember, towards the end of the Epic of Gilgamesh, his whole drive is to try to, retain everlasting life. Remember that? He's trying to, like, he dives down under the water to find that plant that's going to give him, like, life forever, and then the snake comes and snatches it away when he's napping, and then he laments that he's going to have to die, But, I don't think Gilgamesh understood that he doesn't want to be here forever, okay? But like I said, the whole story is an allegory, okay? Of us trying to grasp to stay here forever. But honestly, this isn't where we really want to be. This is just a temporary stay. It's an experience. And the Ainana's descent into the underworld is also an allegory, in my opinion. It's got multiple teachings too. The spring equinox, obviously. It's got some astrotheology. All these ancient stories also are tied into astrotheology, even Epic of Gilgamesh. A lot of these creatures he fought were the constellations, if you haven't noticed that, the zodiac signs. And Ainana's descent was not about her going into like a hellish underworld. It was about her descent from heaven onto earth, folks. Okay? I mean, look, our ancestors were a lot smarter than we take them for, okay? In many ways, they're smarter than most humans now. They understood the spirit, because humans used to be really in tune with the Christ consciousness. And then as humanity increased and as the Anuna, the Elohim, spread their domination over humanity and their control, they had to start weeding out these spiritual practices that gave people out of bodies and near deaths so that they wouldn't know the truth of what this realm is. And that's when they came forth with religions and such, to put people in a box, to keep them from thinking outside the box. And the mystery school teachings were originally the mystic school teachings were open for everybody, but they had to go into hiding. And then it was secret sects that would pass these teachings down over the ages, from the order of Melchizedek all the way down through Thoth. Or actually, Thoth was pre-Melchizedek, let's be honest. But from Thoth all the way down, these teachings through the Hermetic teachings, you could call them, have been passed down. They've always explained the quantum field. They've always explained this reality. But this has been kept from people, from humanity. And that's what I've been trying to teach you guys all about, okay? So, anyways, let's pick this up maybe tomorrow. Sorry, guys, there for about a 2-week period. I had a lot going on, and I wasn't doing much videos, but I'm getting back on the horse, so to speak. So I hope you guys are enjoying the more regular video drops. You can help me out by just, sharing these videos, commenting, liking the videos, and just spread me to other people that you think is somebody that's willing to learn some things that most people will never ever be taught, okay? Especially if they go to church or if they're an atheist. They're never going to understand these things. But those few of you that have been with me for a while and that you listen to my videos on a regular, you guys are one of the few humans on earth, or spirits on earth at least, have awakened to many of the secrets of this realm. And all I do, folks, look, I'm not a professional, I'm not an expert in any field, okay? I'm just a guy that's been researching my whole life. It's a passion, okay? And I connect dots. That's all I do. You see pattern recognition, right? You start to see, when you're only focused on a religion, you don't see anything outside that religion. When you're only focused on academia, university teachings and propaganda and all that, programming, that's all you see. See, that's the problem. People are not only are they in their job compartmentalized, but in their minds they've been compartmentalized by the institutions of this world. And it was on purpose, okay? It's on purpose, folks. It's not an accident. In fact, people have been tricked to worship the cube, the black cube of Saturn. That's representative of this control mechanism of the mind, okay? Of religion boxing people's thoughts up and controlling them. That's why the Muslims always go to Mecca and they walk around the big, the Kaaba, the black cube with the black stone, right? The black stone. You know where that? Yeah, black stone. Think about that, folks. Black Rock. I mean, sorry, Black Rock. That's in the cornerstone of that edifice. And then you look at the Judeans when they go to the Wailing Wall. A lot of them will wear this black cube on their forehead over their third eye. Think about that, over the third eye, folks. What do you think that represents? Represents over the third eye that it's boxing up the third eye. It's blocking its vision. Its connection to God, to the true source, because they worship the God of this realm, folks. The demiurge. They don't worship the source. They worship the God of this realm. That's why they gotta put that cube over their third eye, right? And then you get Christians. Well, Christians will be like, oh, well, hey, that may be true about them, but not us. What do you think the cross is, folks? You take the cross, fold it up, it's a cube. You've all been tricked. You've all been tricked. It ain't my fault. I'm just telling you the truth. Hate me all you want. Like, look, I get it, man. It sucks when you realize everything you thought was truth is all a lie, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, there were actually people that believed the government was a force of good, that you could trust the government and the media and all this. I mean, give me a break. Trust the corporations. I mean, they've been poisoning us forever. I mean, these criminals in D.C., right? District of Criminals. All they've been doing is stealing our tax money and money laundering. That's all they do, folks. It's just psychopaths that rise to the top of the power structure. And then all they do is rape and pillage everybody. Okay? That's all it is. And you actually have people that are well, they're paid protesters. Let's be real. I mean, my God, they're paid protesters. You really think these idiots out there with these stupid pre-made signs and stuff these people don't have two brain cells to rub together. They're total NPCs. Okay? Totally programmed individuals that can't think for themselves. I mean, they're idiotic too. I mean, these people are total idiots. I mean, burning cars down and doing all this. I mean, what idiots, man. I mean, we live in such a clown world. I can't even believe it. I mean, God. Oh, wow. We got a lot of work to do, folks. So anyways, do whatever you guys can to support me. Look, this is messages that people need to hear, but most people don't have access to, okay? And for any of you that are interested, I do accept donations for my time. I do one-on-one Zooms. If you want to donate some money to exit the Matrix, to help build this platform and such, I'll give you one-on-one time on Zoom, and if you'd like, we can record it and you can keep it, and I may not be able to do this forever, folks. I have more time now because of my Facebook page being still out of my hands, out of my grasp and control, because that was eating a lot of my time up. So I do have some more, but I still have a lot going on. I do a lot, trust me, besides work and content creation. I do a lot of other stuff. I do a lot of gem hunting and stuff. So, I live in a place that's super rich in gemstones and stuff. And so I like to go dig around in the rivers on nice days when I get off work or on weekends. So, I balance out all of these things, and then researching all the time. So anyways, hey guys, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.